Morning, y'all. Let's go to Torrey Pines. That's where we're going to start this American Odyssey. Here over in Carlsbad, we're going to do some days with Titleist. We're going to go to TPI again and do a little bit, a few fitting videos, those kind of stuff. But I'm actually playing North and South course the next 2 days here at Torrey Pines. But I'm not filming them because I'm not with the normal gang. And I'm actually going to play mostly without the camera for once. But today's topic, what we're going to talk about today, which I want lots of people to start really thinking about more, is what kind of golfer are you? So kind of emotionally and physically, what type of game you play. If you think of my game, I'm kind of hitting fairways, I'm making pars, I'm not hitting it long, I'm just kind of plodding. What kind of golfer are you? How does that benefit you or hurt you? And how do you manage that? It'll be an interesting one. Post comments down below. What kind of golfer are you? A bomber and you're up and down like 92, then 72? Are you steady Eddie? What are you? Post in that comment section down below. Let's play Torrey. Right, what kind of player are you? So if you take me, for example, to start, so I'm a plodder. I'm going to hit the ball relatively short, try and keep it in play to my strengths, which is hitting driver everywhere, as much as possible to try and get me as far up the hole and then get myself on the green to try and get my putter turned on. My biggest regret, so I played to that stereotype all my life, my biggest regret is not realising the power that is needed to be a better player. I grew up in the kind of like the Faldo era, so where he was kind of very good at plodding, and I aspired to be that kind of player, and I look back now and just wish I'd have taken more time to make kind of physically change my body and turn myself into as much as a plodder as I am, but with an extra 20 or 30 yards. So I worked on my strengths and developed them, to my opinion, to like the best I could, but definitely feel I didn't really get the fitness part of it because it wasn't really a thing in those days. And it's interesting how the coaching has changed. My ideas of a younger coach would have been to get good players, elite players, really kind of plodding, getting their kind of games in play as much as possible. Where now, if I get a good player who wants to aspire to be anything kind of tour-wise, those kind of things, if they're not hitting it a certain distance, then, you know, I'm passing them on to the fitness guys. But then that changes. If you think you've got a handicap, so you've got 3 shots, sometimes plodding on a course that measures 6,000 yards or whatever, you compared, I mean, Torrey Pines is probably over 7,000 from the tees we're playing. It makes a massive difference to be hitting a 9-iron over a 6-iron into a green. But the members courses could be quite different. So let's talk about this more. Probably continue this, I think, now tomorrow. I'm very tired. I actually don't really know what time it is anymore. We'll see you in the morning. Morning, yo. Right, standard jet lag, 4 AM catch up. So I see other golfers. The classic one I get, lots of power, so hit it plenty far enough, but are very wild, so can kind of really miss both ways, big as well as hit great shots. Think of Rory in our videos. He's a classic example of this golfer. When we get something with Rory, like we did a video with, or a lesson with recently, and I do this with lots of students, for them, it's about trying to make sure that they get their bad shots, so this two-way massive destructive miss, to calm down, so their bad shots are still there because they're handicapped golfers, they're going to hit bad shots and they've got jobs and kids and the rest of it, not that Rory has, but lots of people that I teach. It's about giving them weapons to try and be able to get around the course and enjoy themselves while still having their normal weapons. So, you know, do this action and you can hit it off the planet and great, but if you've got some holes where you need to keep it straight, have a thought, have a feeling that you try and work in there that you know makes you hit the fairway or around the fairway complex more than you don't. Now, if that becomes a way that you feel that is more comfortable to play because you do it and it works, like with Rory, you start bleeding it into more parts of your game. You start doing it more often. You start accepting that being a bit more boring on the length of courses that you play might help for you. It's never really about fixing them. It's about making them less bad. It's about making them less destructive. And really for students and golfers like down this lens watching, it's about you understanding what kind of golfer you are. So if you understand that you are one of those wild golfers, do you just keep playing to that skill, and then what happens is you do what you see Rory in our videos do, you have your 5 over gross par round, or you know, around a mega course that we play, and then you have loads of hundreds. And I think this is where people get really unstuck. You see it in the handicap comments. I'm someone who's going to shoot around 2 over, 4 over, 6 over, maybe 10 over when I'm bad, maybe 2 under when I'm playing well, kind of rounds. I'm always around my score because of my style of golf. That keeps me emotionally stable, makes me enjoy myself. That's how I've learned to enjoy golf. Someone like Rory's happy to just let it go. So just kind of let the bad shots happen, knowing that when it all comes together with his power, and if he can just keep a few more in play, like with his wooden man swing, with the distance he gets, he can have a few less blowouts, but he knows he's still going to have them. He's not going to work on just getting rid of the blowouts because it's almost not realistic for his style of play. And then this leads on to your emotional connection to golf. So I learn how to get my most enjoyment out and accept my limitations at this age. When I was younger, like I said earlier, I think I made a mistake. I should have gone more for the distance, all that kind of thing. But now I just learn to play to my skills. Rory's the same, and he's, you know, he accepts the blobs, the kind of blackouts, the crazy high scores. He tries to let it not get him down. It gets him down a lot more than he shows, and then waits for that better round because he knows it will come every 10, every 20, every 5, whatever it is. And obviously as he works on his wooden man stuff, that's what we're trying to increase. We're not trying to get rid of those rubbish scores. They're going to happen. Golf is hard. It's about trying to reduce how many he has and just increase how many times he has the more solid to good round. So at some point you've got to accept what kind of golfer you are. Then you have to accept how to get the most out of that as a skill. And I think that's where we go next with this, because that's what lots of people fall back on. And as always, this is in my pants, and I'm going to try and get some more sleep now. Right, self course time today. Look what hole, we're doing a shotgun start, and look where we're starting. Yep, 16. So last time I played this hole, I had a hole in one and the pin was about there. But it's awkward. I don't like talking about, I don't like talking about it. Unfortunately not a hole in one this time, but pin eye, I'll take it. So the reason I want you to think about what kind of player you are is because I see lots of golfers that I coach and played with over the years who don't understand what style of golfer they are, which can lead to a few things. One, it can lead to them not working on the right things. So working on mass distance rather than accuracy, or the other way around, subject to understanding what kind of golfer they are. Two, I see it affecting their emotions, like really affecting their kind of how they cope with their good or bad shots on the course. So what I mean by that is if you're unduly hard on yourself because you think you are someone who finds fairway, or you think you are that person who should just be making more pars than you think, then you start beating yourself up in situations where you shouldn't. And I've noticed that mostly on the journey. I've seen the guys hitting shots that I think that's a pretty good effort because of the hole they're playing on. Like, they can't start it left, no room, whatever, you're really narrow fairway, and they miss the fairway by 7 yards, and yes, they're in the trees, but they've like really beaten themselves up on it. And I just think missing the fairway by 7 yards on this hole isn't actually that bad. It's a hole that's really narrow, so that means if you put them on 80% of the other holes they're going to play, that's actually a pretty good shot, but they're like killing themselves over that shot. So understanding what kind of style of golfer you are will help you enjoy yourself more or not, help you understand what you need to improve or not, and where you should be spending your efforts. Because if it affects your emotions, let me assure you, it'll severely affect your game. Look at this. So there's the famous second over there, which we'll get to later on today. What a place. So I called it the second earlier, it's actually the third, par 3. Look at the view. Torrey Pines South, such a cool place, and this is a great example of what we're talking about today. So the greens are all massively built up with roll-offs and very undulating on them. So I've played this course twice now, this being the second time, with amateurs, and they often don't understand how difficult it is to hit these greens. See them choosing clubs that don't have enough loft, like rather than landing it in the short or at the front of the green with a bit of height and stopping it, they're trying to land it pin eye to their number, which is just really hard to do when you've got runoffs like you've got here. It's so important that you understand your skill base, then in turn how difficult or easy the course is that you're playing, because it will trip you up if your expectations aren't quite right, and you need to lower them around a course like this.
Great putt, partner.
How to make 2 putts the hardest possible.
That's the bird, right?
10 to 5 this morning. That's pretty good going for me in jet lag. Press comment down below, let me know what kind of golfer you are, and if you understand my points. For so many golfers, I see them misunderstanding their perception of what they should be achieving, which puts pressure on them and often makes them not enjoy their game. And I think it's most evident on our videos, on our playing videos, when we shoot, say, 7 over around a course that measures 7,600 yards, and then maybe shoot level or under around a golf course that measures 6,000 yards or 6,300 yards, where we're hitting wedges into greens, and the comments often don't bear that in mind. They just rate the score as a thing. And when I have conversations of ideas of standard scratch that we use in the UK, which I think other places, so in America here they call it slope, people don't quite get the difference. And I think, cool, wow, if they're not getting that, how can they self-rate if they're playing good or bad? Because 8 over around one course is the equivalent of maybe 4 or 3 or 2 over around another course, but you're rating them as the same, which you can't be if you want to keep sane in a game that constantly tries to make us go a little bit insane. Push comments down below, let me know if it makes sense. Thanks for watching, see you all tomorrow at TP Alley tomorrow. Should be fun. Meeting the family on Wednesday as well, which I can't wait. The American Odyssey continues.